Hey friend, I'm Danielle Damrell, and I am so grateful that you're listening to the Created Worthy podcast. This show is all about honoring the life stories of women from different ages, beliefs, backgrounds, and experiences. Everyone's got a story, and instead of getting stuck in the trap of unworthiness, this is a safe place for stories to be shared. On this show, we chat about the transformative power of creative processing too, and how we can utilize our God-given creativity with intention to heal, grow, find joy, create simplicity in the midst of our chaotic lives. So pull up a seat at our table, because we are all created worthy. Hello! Welcome back to the Created Worthy podcast. Today, I am joined by another worthy warrior, Jen Vazquez. Jen is a vibrant marketing expert empowering female service providers and small business owners to amplify their brand story through powerful visual storytelling and strategic Pinterest management. As the CEO of Jen Vazquez Media, she transforms businesses by integrating organic digital marketing strategies with engaging brand photography and videography. Selected by Pinterest as a Pinterest pioneer, Jen excels in leveraging Pinterest for growth. Jen's heart lies in building community and education, and she is an enthusiastic host. She is the enthusiastic host of the Marketing Strategy Academy podcast, an active participant in numerous marketing forums. When she's not crafting perfect pins or creating compelling content, you'll find her spending Tuesdays on the floor with her grandchildren and weekends indulging in her love for home karaoke and baking sourdough bread with her 4 adult children and 4 grandbabies. Shocking. Every time I hear that you're a grandma, I'm going to be like, I'm shocked. Because, yeah. Anyway, Jen's mission is to make sure marketing workflows are smart, efficient, and fun, ensuring her clients not only reach, but surpass their goals with ease. And she does it all with a best friend next door vibe, which I can definitely vouch for, making the journey as delightful as the destination. Jen, thank you so much for joining me on the Created Worthy podcast. I can't wait for my listeners to hear your real life story.
Oh, thank you so much for the invite, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Me too. We've been talking about this for a little while, and I love that you just jumped on the schedule. I'm so excited. So let's jump straight into it. Tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you started off in life and your family dynamics.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in San Jose, California, also known as Silicon Valley or the Bay Area. It's up in Northern California, about 50 miles south of San Francisco. And my mom and dad were married until he passed away, so 50 something years. So I was fortunate to grow up with a mom and dad. I will say that my personality really does reflect that because my dad is very outgoing, life of the party, always positive and exciting. And my mom is a planner, detail oriented, likes to plan things out. And so I have both of those in me, which is not, I guess, normal.
Wonderful.
Usually like I'm very good at flying by the seat of my pants, but if I can, I will plan things out because I like to plan. I grew up dancing my whole life, tap, jazz, and ballet. It was my life's work. I thought I wanted to be on Broadway. And then I got Freiberg's disease, which is very rare, and it makes the joint in one of your toes just grow until your foot stops growing. And so I had to quit dance, which was very upsetting. But then I ended up becoming a cheerleader, and that's really my personality, so it fit. It works.
Yes, you are a cheerleader. That does not surprise me at all. Wow. So at what age were you diagnosed with Freiberg's disease?
I think I was like 12, 13. It was
Okay.
very pivotal because I was traumatized.
Yeah.
So it was right before high school. And yeah, it was pretty devastating. You know what? For me, I was the type of kid who like had my whole life planned out. I wanted to be a mom since I was 8 years old. And my mom would say, "Oh, you want to get married and have kids?" And I'm like, "No, I just want the babies. I just
That's
want the kids."
exactly what my daughter says. That's
Okay,
so funny.
trust her, because 'cause I'm not kidding. All my Barbies were babies, like, I had everything
Yeah.
I played with, I was like, "Mom." That was my it was my life, which is funny because wanting to dance on Broadway and being a mom was not the thing. So,
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Wow. Okay, that actually is exciting to hear because do want grandbabies.
Yes.
So, but I'm also like, wait, you're not gonna have a husband? How's that gonna work? But we haven't gotten there yet.
And keep in mind too that this was in the late '70s, early '80s when I said that, and that was not really something that people we're
Yeah.
okay with, right? It's not like
Right.
today. So
Right.
my mom was like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have to keep an eye out for her." Like in her mind, yeah, yeah. I think she
Oh my
talked to me
gosh.
about the birds and the bees at 8 because she
Yeah.
was gonna make sure that I was safe.
Yeah. We actually that's so funny. We actually had part 1 of the birds and the bees
Oh,
conversation just last or 2
yes.
weeks ago, but we didn't get into, like, how babies are
Details.
actually made
Mhm. Of
because she as
course.
soon as I showed her female anatomy and male anatomy, she was like, "Nope, I'm
Nope.
done."
That was me. That was me. And she goes, "Oh," I remember this at 8 years old. It was like crystal clear. She goes, "Okay, I'm gonna put this book over in the living room and you can go look at it anytime you want." And of course I was curious, so I read it cover to cover. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, I don't want to talk about it with you.
Yeah, good. I'm good. I know enough.
Exactly.
Yes. So, are you still in Silicon Valley?
I
Did you
am.
move at all at any
So
point?
I did. Actually, my brother and sister-in-law moved to Arizona when I had my third daughter and she was like just born. And I got laid off like twice in a 6-month period. And knowing that he moved there and I wanted our kids to grow up together, like I was like, It's time to move." And so
Yeah.
my husband and I, and my two older kids, and my baby at the time, my daughter, we moved to Arizona. And I love it there. It's so clean and I do like it. It's hot, but I like
Yeah.
it. And then we were there for 2 years maybe, and then my brother moved back. And I was like, "I have a job. We have like all the
Right.
things." And then so I stayed because I'm stubborn for another year and then I moved back. So I
Okay.
have lived somewhere else in Arizona. And then I also lived about 2.5 hours north in Sacramento. I
Okay.
had lived there with my first husband for a while, but otherwise I'm here. In fact, my mom was born and raised in San Francisco. My grandfather was born and raised in San Francisco.
Wow.
His parents were born and raised in San Francisco. So we're like fifth generation, I think, like Bay
Wow.
Area.
Natives.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. In fact,
Okay.
my
Well, that's
grandfather is still alive and he's turning 99 in January.
oh my goodness. Well,
I know.
happy early birthday, a few months
Hope
early, but
hope I have those genes.
yes. Yes. That's always the goal, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit and talk about you becoming a mom. So at
Yeah.
what point did you become a mom and fulfill that lifelong desire?
Yeah. So I've always been very stubborn and independent, I would say. And so I actually moved out at 17 into my own apartment. So I had been working for my parents' real estate company for 4 years, I think. And then when I was getting near to graduating high school, I did not want to go to college. Like I knew that I wanted to work full time and then become a mom. That was my plan. Work and then become a mom. And so I moved out because I was like, I want to have my own life or whatever. And then very shortly thereafter, I met my first husband. And I wouldn't say that he was the best guy. He loves his children dearly. We all get together for family stuff. So if he
Mhm.
listens to this, he won't be offended. But
It wasn't
but
for
I
you.
yeah, and I knew I wanted kids, and I was 19, he was 9 years older, and so
Mm.
he was ready at that point, I guess, and then so we had 2 kids, and then I realized it wasn't gonna work, And
Yeah.
I think around 7 years later, I think it was, we divorced amicably. And again, like I said, I'm very fortunate because we all get together for all the things. And then I decided I was just going to be a mom and I was just going to raise my kids and I wasn't going to date at all. And or if I dated, it was gonna be on my weekends off, like the weekends that the kids are with him. So I remember I had 2 kids very young, 20 and 22. I lived a little life. It was in my almost late 20s and just had a bunch of fun. And one day, or my girlfriend kept telling me, "I am going to introduce you to this firefighter, and he's really cute and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "I'm not dating. I'm not dating." Whatever. So she goes one day she called me up and she goes, "I need you to come with me. We're going down Pacheco Pass, like it's a dangerous highway. And will you drive with me?" I'm like, "Sure." So I got in the car, I'm driving, and halfway there she goes, "Oh, and we're gonna meet JC." I'm like, "What?" Trying to put makeup on in the dark, like it was a whole thing.
It was a
But,
setup.
yeah, it was a total setup, and I remember walking in, and he was laying down on they have little beds or whatever in the fire station, and he was laying down with, like, his head on top of his laced fingers, right? Like,
Of
just
course.
not even caring, right? Just
Yeah.
he's too cool for school, and I walk in and I think, "He is definitely" I don't know, I didn't wanna talk to him. He took a double take and then got up right away, and then we started chatting, and 4 hours later, he's, "Oh, you should take these melons," when we were leaving, "and pull a spoon, like, to make that little melon balls, your kids will love it." And I was in love. It was, like, that
Oh.
fast. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
So it was like rejection at first sight turned to love at first sight.
Isn't that wild? It is wild, but
Wait.
he's still to this day we've been married for almost 30 years. He has
Wow.
been he when you find somebody that just loves you for who you are and lets you be you, that's a keeper.
Yeah.
Note to self.
Yes, that's a keeper. So, did you guys end up having more children? Because I
We
think I
did, you
said I read
bet.
that you have 4.
Yes, it's funny because I we moved in together. First of all, I dated some people, like, just dated, not looking for marriage, whatever, during a 4-year period in between, and nobody I dated one guy for a year, and he never met my kids. I never let anyone meet my
Good.
kids. I just knew that I didn't want that. JC moved in 3 months later, and we were engaged, like,
Mm,
right then. And so I had a 2-year engagement because I just wanted to be sure. I'd already been married. I didn't want to mess up again in my mind. And so we had a 2-year engagement. And during that time, I was like, he was like, "I love your children like my own. They have a dad. I love them like my own. And I don't need kids. We're good." And I'm like, "Oh, no, no, no. You absolutely need kids." Like, I wanted to have his kids. We got married, and a year later, we had my daughter. And then less than a year later, my younger kids are 16 months apart. This
wow.
is when we moved to Arizona. Whoopsie. And I had my 4th. And so, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And now you have 4 grandbabies. That is we're gonna
The
jump into that in a
absolute
second,
best.
but before we do that, I wanna hear a little bit about your career path.
Yeah, so
So go
I
ahead.
when I started off, because I had started off doing administrative work for my dad's real estate office. I was always, like, in an administrative position, ended up moving up to an executive admin for a VP of Netscape, which was before was bought out by Apple. And so I was doing a lot of executive jobs, working for Ernst& and Young and some other companies. And then I found somebody recruited me to be a recruiter. And so I started my recruiting focusing on financial recruiting for VPs and CFOs and sort of high level, and ended up managing a team for a Fortune 500 recruiting company as the division director. And I loved it. But in recruiting, you have 2 sort of types of people. You have those that are in recruiting for less than 10 years, or you have those who are in recruiting for, like, over 5 years, like, for, like, lifers is what they would call it. It burns you out a lot.
Mm,
And when in 2004-ish, 2005, actually a little bit later than that. I was struggling with leaving my all 4 of my kids before they woke up and coming home after they had already gone to bed, and I was like, "That this is not why I chose to have children, like, this is just not for me." And I had been photographing for years before that. Since my son was born, I was photographing and photographed for friends and did it on the side for money for years. And one day, I called my husband on in the middle of the day on my way home, and I said, "FYI, I just gave 2 weeks notice." And in recruiting, you don't give notice, you're gone. They don't want you taking their books and all the
Yeah.
recruiting folks. And my husband was like, "What did you do?" And I said, "Don't you worry, I'm gonna make this photography thing work out." And it has. I'm still
Yeah.
photographing to this day, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you have you always done photography, like, as a hobby? And then
Yeah, since high
okay.
school. I love
Yeah.
photography. And then when my son was born, I just had this, and then friends started asking because they would see my pictures that I was taking, and then finally strangers started asking, and then I made it a business on the side.
So what's your specialty? What do you
Well,
enjoy
back
photographing the
then,
most?
yeah, right now it's brand photography. I love anything to do with business, and my marketing strategy, my marketing knowledge enables me to photograph in a way that I can see these pictures as I'm taking them for them to be able to use on social media or to use on their website to capture
Mhm.
their personality, to capture all of those things and be able to help them create that marketing plan. So that's my favorite, but for years, it was weddings. I love everything about weddings. At 56, like, I just did not wanna be working those 10 and 12-hour days anymore, no matter how much I loved it. So, last year in November, I made the decision that I was going to move on to brand, which I had always done a little bit of brand photography, but I was, like, going full force into it, and I love every second of it. But what was interesting is making that decision in November, and I'm gonna be merging my 2 businesses together because it makes sense with brand
Yeah.
photography. The sense of relief that came over me just from realizing and saying out loud that's what I wanted to do is always for me that gut check if I'm making the right decision in business, and the relief I felt
Yeah.
was perfect, and now I have my weekends back for my grandbabies.
You do. You have your weekends and your Tuesdays.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Okay, so I want you to talk to me a little bit about your passion for marketing because that's how I got to know you was through working together on an amazing client's business, and you are helping a ton with her Pinterest marketing to start, and now you're doing all kinds of marketing and content,
Yeah.
which I am super excited about. And I want to hear about like how you developed this passion for marketing.
Yeah, so in 2009 when I officially launched my photography business, I at the very same time, I had a friend give send me an invitation on invite only. It was like Clubhouse, but for Pinterest way back when.
Oh.
And it was in beta, and soon everyone was like, "Give me a link, send me a link." Like it was a thing that everyone was going crazy for. And I dove in head first into Pinterest because I knew I had to grow my business very quickly, and I recognized that it's a search marketing platform and you get new eyeballs at top of the funnel for
Mm.
everything that you do, and that worked really well. And so as I was using Pinterest, I would tell my, like, wedding pro friends and my business friends, "Oh, you should do this, or you should do this," or whatever. And after, like, years of people telling me, You, like, need to do this as a business." And I'm like, "I am not until my son graduates, my youngest, I'm not launching a second business and putting myself right in the same position that I was at corporate." So yeah, 2018 when he graduated, I launched right into that Pinterest marketing business. And my specialty in marketing in general and the strategy of it is I have a way of listening and hearing what someone's business goals are, and
Mhm.
knowing which marketing techniques to use and the keywords to get those viewers, get the people to look. It's like a game for me. It's like a competitive kind of thing for me, and I crave it. And my other specialty is really marketing workflows, like how to save time so people aren't wasting time. Entrepreneurs are is like my ideal client, right? Service
Yeah.
providers. And they're always wearing all the hats. And so if they tighten up their workflow, then they're going to have a constant stream of leads coming in and while they can work on what they want to work on.
Yes, I love it when you share your all of your workflow ideas or you send me a memo with, "Hey, we should do this." Or you're like, this would be a really good lead magnet," or "We need to make sure this blog gets written," or "I've written these blogs. Now how do we get
Yes.
it out there?" I'm like, "Yes," like you just have such a passion, but also what I love about you is how you have a passion for that individual person's business and to see them succeed, right? Like we live in a world,
Yes.
especially post pandemic, where a lot of people started online businesses, but not everyone really had a passion for the person they were serving, but rather a passion to make money from home
Yes.
or online. And that's something that just completely separates you, and something that I think we relate on a lot is
Yeah.
we care about them being successful in their businesses. We care that the marketing strategies that are being developed are actually going to push them towards that generating profit, right? Like towards a return on their investment, whether it's for us individually or
Exactly.
for whoever else they're investing in. But as a whole, like your business is for lack of better words, like it needs to be a well-oiled machine and everyone needs to know what they're doing. And there needs to be good workflows and there needs to be tracking and analytics and all of that. And you just have come in and been such a inspiration really for me to like
Oh.
level up even within my own business and within my own team. And yeah, I just have to call that portion out of you in you because yeah, you're just such a joy to work with and I love your
Oh.
passion for the person. Like, and I've heard you talk
Yeah.
about other clients where you're just like, "And I
Oh,
had this client, and I had this client, and I just wanted to see them succeed in this way." And I'm like, "That language is powerful, Jen. It
well,
really is."
I totally agree with you, and I actually don't use that language as much as I should because I think that is a helpful thing for me to use in marketing to get across what it's like to work with me,
Mhm.
and I've had clients say, "Are you for real? Like, how could you, like,
Yeah.
care about these people you work with?" But that's the glory of owning your own business.
Yeah.
I am all about I know when I'm talking to somebody on a consultation if they're my ideal client, and if they aren't, I'm gonna get them the help that they need because I do
Yeah.
want everyone to succeed, and I think every business should be on
Yeah.
Pinterest, period, the end. But I only work with those people that I love. That's the fun
You
of
get
my
to choose where
business.
you delegate your
Yes.
energy and how you delegate it,
Yes.
and sometimes it takes a little bit more or a little bit less, but when you
Yes.
get to choose the right people for you, that's such a blessing in entrepreneurship, and one thing that I love thinking about in regards to this is if somebody isn't the right fit, then they're the right fit for someone else, and so what you're actually
Yes.
doing is it's that ripple effect of you're releasing them from potentially an unaligned fit with you that causes frustration on both ends, but also you're giving the next person, whether whoever that referral is or whatever direction you're sending them in, you're giving that person the opportunity to go find the right fit so that they can succeed. So it's still being really thoughtful and generous, even for the other person, even though you might
Yeah.
be saying no to them
No,
for
for
whatever
sure,
reason.
and
Yeah.
a lot of times, because I don't think I've met people that I don't really like, I'm just I like
Yeah.
people in general,
You.
but if my experience and knowledge and services that I offer are not gonna help them to get the best fit, I specialize in service providers, so when you talk about products and all of that side of the business, that is not my specialty. I've had clients beg me to work with them and I'm like, "No, because I want the best for your business." And then of course I refer them to somebody who is an expert in that position. And then some people who are not like on the fence about like management,
Yeah.
then I have my memberships for that. So then I feel because I have a ton of people from all walks of life in that group because I'm helping them to DIY it. So it's not
Yeah.
like I need that
It's not as
knowledge.
hands-on. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Which is so amazing. That's definitely like, I wanna hear even more when we have some time together
Yeah.
about all of your different service offerings, because like, I don't even know about your membership, but we're definitely gonna leave all of the links to everything in your show notes so that other people can find you and connect with you. But before we do that, And
Mhm.
before you tell them where to find you, we have to talk about creative processing because creative processing is my thing. And I think just like you think Pinterest is for every business, I think that creative processing is for every person. I think it's something that most of us already do. We just don't know that we're doing it. And you shared with me that some of your creative processing methods are watching YouTube, dancing around your living room, and the biggest is taking a bath and, oh, your lash extension appointment every 2
Oh,
weeks.
hello. It just gives me the confidence to show up on video because 'cause I'm on video all the time, every week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do certain things. I'm a creature of habit, which I know many of us are. That's part of our human thing. But so I hate exercise. So if I'm dancing around the living room or I'm taking a walk, I'm listening to podcast or I'm listening to music because
yeah,
otherwise I'll go crazy because it's just not my jam. But I know that my body needs it and my mental I need it.
yeah,
So I like to double things. I take baths almost every day. I haven't in the last couple days because it's been really hot, but
yeah,
normally I will every day. And when I'm in the bath, all my list of to-dos that is to watch certain educational videos because I'm constantly educating
yeah.
myself. That's when I do that work because then I'm in
I
the
love
bath
that.
and then I'm getting educated and I love updating my
Yeah,
skills and my knowledge and stuff. So I like to do that, but I never thought of it as what you're saying. I
yeah.
never knew that's what it was.
I
Creative
love
process.
that you are making a list of intentions. That's what you're
Oh,
doing when you're making a list of what you want to study or learn about. That is brilliant and honestly something that I think I already I have like probably 10,000 lists in my phone with
oh.
different things that I want to do, but I've
Yes.
never thought about framing them as intentions so that like when I do need to do some creative processing to unwind or to combat
Mhm.
overwhelm or to just increase my capacity for love or whatever it is, like
Yeah.
using my list, like going back and being like, "Oh, okay, today my intention is to learn more about Pinterest." So I'm going to my the prompt that we use is the purpose of enter your creative method is to process enter your certain intentions. So for you it could be like the purpose of taking a bath, which I think puts your specific brain into a creative space is to
Yes.
process Pinterest growth or whatever. For me, it would be Pinterest growth. For you, I'm sure that it's literally any and everything. You seem like the type of person who just loves learning.
Exactly correct.
So yeah, but that is so brilliant. I love that. I'm gonna definitely put that in your promo material because I'm like, make a list of
Yay.
intentions whenever they come up. When you're looking
And
on
I
Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube and you
exactly.
save it, why don't you just
Yes.
make a list somewhere? So that's actually something that you can go and further process.
And I also will say too that sometimes you need a break from these things. So
Yeah.
like I take a bath every day, but I don't always every single day watch like educational videos. I do it a lot because I crave that. That's part of my
Mhm.
like you're saying processing, but I also read 4 books a week. And so
Wow.
for me and I like audiobooks. I know it's sacrilegious, but
Me
that's I
too.
like
I'm all
audiobooks. I
about
just do.
audiobooks.
So when I take a walk, if I'm not listening to a podcast, I'm listening to a book. Or if I'm taking a bath, I either am getting educated or I listen to a book.
Right.
Sometimes I will, in the middle of the day, say, I'm done. And I will go lay down in bed, close my eyes, and just listen to a book. It like resets me. So, this is
Yeah.
your permission out there, if you're listening to this, to change things up if it's not working for you and to add some variety if you are not getting from it what you got from it before.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, being able to really just break that habit, but it's more of those subconscious habits that sometimes we just need to
Yes.
break. So if you don't ever read one thing I've been doing recently is I've been reading fiction. Listening to fiction. I've never listened to fiction in my life.
Oh, yeah,
But
so I'm all fiction so that for me, it takes me out of my, like,
yeah,
education, and when I go too deep into self-help type books, which I used to, like, just love,
yeah,
I felt more unbalanced.
yeah. And it's
So
I'm
reading
not
f
doing
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, but for me, I've been pairing that with the intention of increasing my storytelling skills and
Ooh.
really being able to see like how these fiction authors are. putting these books together in a
So
way that can
smart.
help me to increase my storytelling skills and really activate that imagination side of my own brain. Because as adults, we think we don't have an imagination or we shouldn't be playing, but that's not the truth. We're created for play. We're created to have an imagination. And when we engage in those things, even through reading a fiction book, then we actually become more creative and more balanced within our own bodies
Yes.
and our brains so that we can go out and create. And for I have a obviously my whole business is about creating. So I want to be able to
Yes.
have new ideas and not
Yes, and
get
not get
stuck.
burned out.
Yeah.
And burned out, yeah. And I feel too, every time I read for any length of time, I always have business ideas. It's like your brain doesn't shut off, but
Yeah.
I'm connecting the dots that the ideas that I'm getting is in the storytelling.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I never thought of it like that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love creative processing. I could talk about this forever. But I know we got to go for the sake of time, can you just tell us what is coming up next for you in your life and business and where listeners can best find and connect with you?
Yes, I'll start with the where they can find me. Instagram is an easy thing. Most people are on there. I'm at Jen Vasquez Media, and there's two Z's in my last name. Send me a DM. I'd love to know that you heard what was going on and tell me what you thought about it, about this podcast. And then in terms of what's next for me, I made that decision in November to merge my businesses. And so now I have my brand person is we're going to be merging both of my websites into one, which again takes a level off of stress because it is
Yeah.
now one business. And it's great to make the decision and the relief I felt and yeah and rah, but it is daunting
Yeah.
merging websites.
It
And
is.
we just went through a little website thing. It's not fun. That's why you hire experts.
Yes. And we're here to help you.
That's
Jen can
right.
help you with the marketing side, making sure people
Yes,
come to your website, and me and my team can design and build your website. So if
I
you're
love it.
struggling with that, soft pitch here, come
Yes.
connect with us. Connect with Jen, though, specifically. She is super amazing in all things that she does. If you're in the Bay Area, go look at her photography portfolio. I'm going to link it in the show notes. Go follow her, go connect with her. She's a dose of joy every single day. So, Jen,
Aw.
I am just grateful and honored to have heard your story here today. You are a brilliant marketing whiz with a generous and caring heart and so many other things. It has been a blessing to work alongside of you recently, and I cannot wait to see the ways that you continue to impact this world. I want to
Ah,
encourage you to continue showing up unapologetically as all that you are and using your incredible giftings to empower others to be who they are and share that with the world. I am so excited to see the ways that your adventure continues to unfold. Thank you for being such a light and a joy in this world. Keep shining. You, my friend, are created worthy. Thanks for listening and tuning in to the Created Worthy podcast. I hope that today's show resonated with you. And if it did, can you do me a huge favor and go leave a 5-star review? This helps more listeners find the show and it expands the reach of the stories and concepts that are shared here. All the links and guest information are in the show notes. And if you're on social media, come hang out with me. You can find the Created Worthy podcast on both Instagram and Facebook, or come follow along with my personal IG page where I just share more about the real, sometimes messy life of your fellow worthy warrior. Can't wait to talk to you soon, friend. And don't forget, we are all created worthy.
hey, friend. Thank you so much for listening to my story on the Created Worthy podcast. I hope that you remember two things. First, don't be afraid to put family first. You will never, ever regret it. And second, take more baths. Seriously, though, do things that help you to relax so that you can spark that creativity. Creativity often comes to us when we quiet our minds. So if you don't have some chill or quiet time built into your schedule, you might be blocking your creative flow. Just know, I know that you got this.